It's Pendulum Wednesday with the man who knows. Well, welcome to Real Life Stories of the Impossible. Today we're talking about pendulums, and the last time we spoke about pendulums, I talked about how a woman showed us the idea of how to actually predict the sex of a child before the third trimester. So anyway, that's an idea that you can try out with different people that you know who happen to be before their third trimester. What I'd like to do is actually get if I was ever on a talk show that would allow me to have like 5 women in their third trimesters hold a pendulum and then see if we can actually do it, and then come back, after they go through their ultrasound and see if the pendulum was correct, and see if we can get like a 5 out of 5. That'd be interesting, right? So anyway, if you want to participate in this, go ahead and stop, put pause on this particular video and go off and find yourself a little weighted bob on a string. I happen to have here my little UFO pendulum. It's the only pendulum that I have here in Washington, D.C. Until I go back to Vegas, I'll have my other pendulums. But here, basically the idea is you want to hold it in your non-dominant hand. So that would be, for me, my left hand, because I'm right-handed. And then you want to be able to just ask, think to yourself, yes. And as you think to yourself, yes, I want you to just nod your head and allow the pendulum to just sort of swing naturally to and fro. You'll see the pendulum actually moves to and fro if you just sort of nod your head, as if you're nodding your head saying yes. And basically, this is my way of calibrating the pendulum into a yes-no situation. Is if you're thinking yes, the idea is the pendulum moves to the yes. Now, what will happen is if you can make the pendulum go still again, and then this time you say no, basically what will happen is the pendulum will move, but this time, I don't know if you can see, it's actually moving in a circle, okay? So as I shake my head, the pendulum sort of ends up going sort of side to side, but it ends up kind of going into a circle as a result. And that becomes your no. So at this point you have the yes and no calibrated. And next week I'm going to show you how you can even go further into the calibration, so you definitely are in that zone where you have the subconscious yes or no response. The idea is that the pendulum will actually give you an idea of what your subconscious is saying. So even though your conscious mind or your intellectual mind tells you what's going on in the here and now, your subconscious mind can be accessed through the pendulum. So give it a try. Think about yes and no for right now, and then later on we'll see if we can dive further into your mind. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of Pendulum Wednesday. We'll see you next week. Peace.